What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review of the 1 hour finale of the 1,000-Year Blood War anime of Core 3, man. As always, we got 2 episodes making an hour-long special of Core 3, and I believe I mentioned this in my previous review, but in case I did, the reason seemingly why we ended up getting the episode count got extended to 14 episodes rather than the usual 13 is because you guys remember at the end of Core 2's first episode, at the end of the last episode of Core 2, they're like the second half of it was just that whole comedy skip thing with Cole, which we did end up getting kind of with this one, but this time it was like the last 5 or so minutes of the episode with Fuckboy Aizen. So, which was also, and we also got to learn the the names of actually of Yuha's original Quincy squad, and of course of the Quincy band. Which, to be fair, we already knew her name because James, or I think it was like James, and then maybe like a couple other people were like asking like animators like, hey, what's her name? And they all just say, oh yeah, it's Nikia. It's like Nikia or Nikia. So yeah, there you go. But we got to get to learn the names of the other commanders as well. So that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, man. Anyways, but definitely not as like big as the concept. And you guys remember in the first episode of Core 3, basically the entire first half of it was recapping the last episode of Core 2. So to make up for basically the entire episode worth of missed content that was either just recaps or a comedy bit, we got an extra episode for Core 3 to like balance everything back out. So we are back. So yeah, Core 4 should end up being another once back to 13 episodes. Which I also gotta say, man, these 2 episodes, man, my God, were absolutely fucking phenomenal, man. Jesus H. Christ. I am definitely very excited for Core 4. We got the return of Ishin and Ryukin returning going to Waterwelt. Which I'm curious what that's going to be about. Are we actually going to see them team up with Ichigo and Uryu? Maybe going up against Yuha? Are they going to be helping out with support with the other ones, with the other Soul Reapers and taking down Valkyrie? Or we'll see him maybe help with Askin, Fuckboy Aizen. We don't know yet, but I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing for Core 4. We know Uryu has actually not been a member of the Quincy's the entire time. He's been working with the Soul Reapers basically, and then he too wants to defeat Yuha. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I am excited to see where Core 4 takes us, man. We didn't get a full episode, or we didn't get released yet for Core 4, which I think was the same thing for Core 1 and for Core 2 and Core 3 after the end of Core 1 and Core 2. We didn't get released yet then. Now, we do know the Blu-rays are releasing in May, I believe is when the Core 3 Blu-rays will be releasing at Jump Festa, which James had predicted that we're probably going to get Core 4 in fall of next year, which I am praying we don't, because as you guys may know, fall we're also going to see the return of Hiroaka's final season, and I do not want to be doing double reviews again. That shit was hell when I had to do like the last 2 episodes of season 7 with like the first couple episodes of Core 3. It sucked, man. I absolutely hated, man, having to do these double reviews. So hopefully, like the Core 4 is switched back to Mondays or something, or like this shit doesn't get aired till like August until like winter. We have to wait till winter 2026 to get Core 4. So hopefully, just at least you don't I would have to review both of them at the same time. But we shall see what ends happening with Core 4, man. But yeah, Core 3, man. What an amazing core, man. This is easily the best core of the Blood War so far, man. So many amazing, incredible art animation through the entire core, man. Just phenomenal. Also, guys, one other thing, guys, as always, in case the review ends up getting delayed, as you guys know, World's End is tonight as well. So yeah, I gotta do a double episode review plus World's End. So God help me if I can by sometime I can finish this before World's End starts. But if the review gets delayed, man, that's why. Anyway, guys, I have rambled on long enough. Let's get into the last 2 episodes of Core 3. So we start the episode off with actually Juichiro, as we see him and Mimihagi-sama doing his thing, as we then see Yuha on his throne. We get over to Uryu in front of this port, which given what we learned later on the episode, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be the Sun Gate that will send them straight to the Soul System, back to the world of the living. I think I could be wrong though, but given the way it looks, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be the Sun Gate or whatever it was called. So Uryu, he's just chilling around. Then Hashimo comes in there, coming out of the shadow, be like, "You have a troubled look on your face, Uryu." And Uryu tells him the same to Hashimo, which I mean, like, that's kind of how he always looks like. And we find out that he now has the Almighty. Because as we know, I don't know, was this actually, I forget if this actually was mentioned in a previous episode. I feel like it was, considering Hashimo says, as you know, or something along those lines. I think this was I think this was mentioned before, but I could be wrong. Basically, anyway, Haschwald, while Yuha is asleep, Haschwald and Yuha's powers flip. So while Yuha's asleep, it's now Haschwald is like the other half of Yuha. He now has the Almighty, while Yuha has Haschwald's power, which are none. He's just basically a sitting duck. Although, as we find out later on in the episode, even when he's asleep and seemingly does not have access to his Quincy powers, like Haschwald does. When their powers aren't switched, he still killed all of the remaining of the Sternwinners from Bosby's team. We see that literally Toto's dead, Giselle is finally dead, and of course the zombies of Candace, Bambi are dead as well. Which hopefully in Core 4 we get to see like the full sequence of that, so I get to really see you all just kill Giselle. That would be great. So please, Kubo, put that in Core 4. Arigato gozaimasu. Anyway, to get back on track. He mentions he now has the Almighty and that he can now see the future, and that's a very troublesome thing. So then who do you ask him if he sees him turning traitor? And Haschwald asks, and I love the way this part of the episode was storyboarded as well, with the close-up on Haschwald's eyes as well. He says, why would you say that when I am sending you? Perhaps do you feel compelled to announce to reveal your true agenda now you cannot hide anything from His Majesty's powers. And that's when we cut over back to Shinji and the crew where they finally reach the castle itself. But that is when Valkyrie finally makes his appearance and Layla just crash lands right on top of him. Which, as you guys remember, was kind of fun because these guys remember earlier on the core ones, while Ruelt was built and everything, that Valkyrie was just thrown onto some random corner of the map, away from any of the Stone Reapers, and just completely on his own. So I guess he finally found his way back to the battlefield. And then he goes to be like, intruders, well done for getting this far. And she's like, bro, we didn't even come to you. You came to us. Gotta love Shinji, man. And man keeps waffling on before Renji actually grabs Hyoning Maru around his arm. So yeah, as we see, Renji is still very much alive. And you guys will see some of my reaction to the double episodes. I'm like, what's like, yo, how is man still alive? Like what happened? How did he get here from his food? And literally, like right after, as I was like kind of like going off on this, like, bam, the episode cuts back to Renji where we found what happened. And basically, Hiyori found him and then had the big guy, had the big guy heal him or at least carry him back to the battlefield. So that's how Renji is finally back in the fight. So everyone's ready to throw down. He actually manages to break through Hyoning Maru's grip from being wrapped around him, manages to break out of that wall, and then have the rest of Hyoning Maru retract back. The animation on Hyoning Maru being retracted back here, man, looked really good, I have to say. So then he like extends his cape outward, like really covering up like basically their way in front of him, like so they can't go past, so they can't get past them. I'm saying like because he was like Shinji asked him like you want to just take him off one on one, and Reggie thought he could, but that was right before he was able to break through. So now he's like one by one. Oh no! I want you all to. You can't even beat me if you had a miracle. I want you to all beat me at once. So the man's straight up like Kenpachi. I kind of wish that Kenpachi got to fight this dude, because I feel that'd be a very interesting fight, because they both like have like the same drive, that same like fight forever, whole thing going on there. That would be an interesting battle. I mean, to be fair, Core 4 still in there. We still got some news. So there's still some stuff with Kenpachi. We still have it to see, which, I'm sure if you guys probably know, but I won't say just in case there's anyone that doesn't want to spoil on Core 4. So, we might still see it. So we might see it for that fight. That's when Kenpachi makes his return, and we get to see, that. But we'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, and then we cut over back to Fuckboy Isaac. The man is just chilling on the roof of one of the buildings, kind of just like waiting around, and he decides to tell more about the Royal Guards while we wait for the next battle to start. He tells us that Baro is the leader of the Royal Guards because obviously he is like a god, he is like a god. He's like the first Quincy that Majesty granted Strift, if I pronounce that right, too. And so, he was also the messenger of God, the whole thing we saw in his episodes. And then we find out that both Perninga as well as Valkyrie are both two Quincies that His Majesty did not grant powers to, leading to like massive root being spread. With one of them, of course, being Perninga is the left hand of the Soul King, which obviously we know is a fact because we saw that in Migra's episode. And the one that was a bit more interesting is that Valkyrie is actually the heart of the Soul King. which I thought was interesting because, like, at least Perninka, him being the left hand, he actually, like, you know, looked like a hand, so it kind of made more sense. But Valkyrie being the royal being, the soul king's, like, you know, heart, that kind of makes you kind of into, like, how that even works, because, you know, he has a full body and everything, so how exactly does a heart fully form a whole body? But who knows, maybe we'll get an explanation about that later on in Core 4. You'll have to wait and see on that. And so as he keeps waffling on, he's like, isn't it weird how a lot of Quincy's deal with the Soul King, isn't it? And he's like, oh wait, you couldn't hear me. And then we cut over to Ichigo lying on the ground. As Chad and Orihime rush towards him, Chad goes for a ground pound, which obviously Askin dodges, and Ichigo tells him to stay away. Once he does that's when Chad activates his trap card, where they're both down on their knees and slowly diving from reishi poison. Now, basically how this works is the same thing what we saw with the #1 Sonpakuto creator. With his whole thing when he had blood poisoning going on, or like he was gonna like choke on his own blood from Askin, when they were fighting off, and he used his blood for that one. So this is basically the same thing where it's just like where they're basically just being drowned, in an overabundance amount of reishi due to the higher reishi concentration within the wild wealth, and then lowering their tolerance to it. That's basically what's happening to Orihime and Chad. I also like the colors they went with, the green, the blue, and the red kind of thing. The color palette they went with for this like portal thing, I thought it looked really, really cool as well. And then he continues to explain, like, you know, if like he has to ingest a lot of whatever he's going to use to defeat his enemy. If it's blood, he has to ingest a lot of blood. Reishi, I guess it just has to be around it, you know, etc., etc., etc. But the reason he didn't go away with Reishi instead of blood is because he's already pretty full from drinking too many fluids. So he's basically just gonna let them just sit there, wait till his stomach, you know, is empty again, and then I guess drink their blood and, you know, have them, like, you know, die from you know, over concentration, from an overabundance, and drown on their own blood, basically. So as he's going on there, we see that Yoruichi is like literally right behind him, hanging upside down on just some rubble, which also looks very Spider-Man like. I have to mention that. It looked really cool. And just what an odd thing to say. If they can't move, why not just strangle them to death? Which honestly is a very fair point. If they are just lying there, can't move or nothing, they're sitting ducks, why don't you just strangle them instead of just waiting to, you know, suffocate them with their own blood? And then he mentions that Bambi told him something a long time ago, and then he made him cringe back then, and he makes him still cringe right now. You people are so insensitive. Then we get this absolutely just beautiful cut where he goes to kick Yoruichi, but she dodges it, gets a shit ton of flip before she lands on the ground, and the camera pans around behind him. This cut looked amazing, man. The animation for Yoruichi, man, looked absolutely spectacular, man. This looked incredible. Yoruichi has what he means by being insensitive, and he says that for not respecting his style to kill enemies. His style is to kill by controlling the target's lethal dose. Strangling is the people more befitting of women like you or Bambi, which also nice that Bambi got some more mentions as Core. Like, seriously, man, you guys remember at Core 3, man? I thought when we got to Core 3, I figured that we weren't going to get any more Bambi appearances, man, because, you know, she was dead, a zombie, and all that. We were not going to see any more Bambi. But we ended up getting like 4 appearances, like 4 or 5 appearances. The ED a couple times in like various episodes, a name dropping, of course, what we got here in this episode as well, where we got to see a little bit more of her. So good to see that we got some good Bambi here. Like, it's Core 4. This is obviously going to be the end of Core 4, maybe unless they do a flashback in the first episode showing up what actually happened with Yuha when she fought off against Lily Toto's team. But besides that, this is the end of Bambi. And hey, I got my Bambi. Anyway, continuing on. And then we get this amazing shot where Yoruichi gets covered up in this like electricity aura as the orange like dress she's wearing kind of like just like rips away, leaving the black, you know, the black one piece thing she's wearing, man. Animation looked amazing as it kind of pans around her, looking like a magical girl transformation, low key. When she transforms here, man, and like Jesus Christ, the animation here, man. And then of course when we actually get to see her a bit later on the episode, man, with all the fucking impact frames. It's just incredible. But anyway, she says, I don't know who this Bambi person is, but I assume this is how you think beautiful women fight. So Askin then pulls out his bow and then fires at Yoruichi. Yoruichi dodges a bunch of them, but manages to catch one and throws it right back at fuckboy Isaac, sending him through some buildings, man. The animation here looked incredible, man. And then right here, man, once we get back to Yoruichi on top of the building, I can only imagine that what happened with the director, whoever asked the editor how many impact frames he was going to put in this episode, he said yes, because Jesus Christ, we get so many impact frames right here, man. As Yoruichi forms, he's like balls around her for an attack, man. It looked amazing. This might have been like the animation highlight of the episode, low key. this might have been the animation highlight of the episode, of the 2 episodes. I could be wrong on that one, man, but this just looked absolutely incredible, man, with all the impact frames, the effects work from the lightning effects, man, just looked absolutely insane. And fires the attack at him, Sunko Raijin Senkai. Senku, I pronounced that right. Before we head back over with Renji and the others, and by this point, Valkyrie is down, he is lying on the ground, he's talking shit about miracles and waffling on, and it seems like he's about to unleash his final attack to turn the tides of battle, activate his trump card, if you will. Byakuya, like, I ain't having that shit, and just finishes him off right then and there, man. And, like, man, he made sure that motherfucker was dead, was Zenbon Sakura Kageyoshi, man. Just ripping off his helmet, man, like, getting right in there in his stomach, his headband. Man Byakuya made sure he was dead. All of this is going on. Poor Momo is just like, did you really have to go that far? And Shinji calls her a dumbass and saying, like, it looked like he was going to use that entire top battle. We obviously can't let him use it, so we have to finish him off. Honestly, man, that was good. But as you guys, of course, know, this didn't end up actually finishing him off. But hey, shout out to Byakuya for actually realizing what was happening and actually making sure he doesn't actually, or at least trying to stop him from hitting that final attack. And so they run right past, then they run past his close. We also get a nice little shot of the reflection of the blood with the reflections on the surrounding buildings. But you guys know I'm a sucker for these kind of shots. They look great in the episode where this was all over the place, episode 3. We then cut over back to Nana and Shunsui for a hot second as we see the shaking has once again continued. Yoruichi manages to grab Orihime out of the way with a whip. I don't know where she got this whip. We don't see it anywhere on her person, but then she has a whip. So she gets Orihime out of there, tells her to heal everyone and to get over to the castle. We head back to the world of the living where you actually get to see the Soul Society kind of like peeking through the sky, or where the sky would be, of the world of the living, which I thought was a nice little touch. Karin and Yuzu get a quick cameo where Karin is playing some video games. Yuzu is freaking out because she thinks there's an earthquake. She ends up tipping Karin's drink as well, so the bitch. And Karin tells her it's fine and whatnot, man, and she knows that the shaking still continues. We head over to Wakamundo where the story strip's starting to crack, the fabric of the fabric is starting to crack. Before we head over, as we cut back from Yuwa, we head back to Mimihagi, and the, like, tendrils, or whatever you want to call them, that are, like, all over the sky start to crack and break off, as we then see Yoruichi just start shaking violently, and then we see Yuha actually starts smiling, so it seems like he might have finally defeated Mimihagi. I could be wrong though, but it seems like Mimihagi is, dead now. So anyway, as Ichigo and Orihime, we also get the commercial cards that look great once again. Not as good as like the last couple of weeks. I never did the last couple of weeks, except it's a better looking commercial card, but the commercial cards here look pretty good as well. Anyway, as Ichigo and the others start running off, Fuckboy Aizen starts to come back out from the rubble, and he's like, oh, this man is gonna chew me out for this, and Yori said, don't worry, you're not gonna get chewed because we're gonna feed you and you hot. And then he was like, what was that rising, whatchamacallit of yours? And then Juichiro screams that it's Raijin Senkai. So he comes in there, man. Yoruichi's obviously shocked to see him. He's waffling on about the greatness about the move and whatnot, man. And Yoruichi's not too happy to see her younger brother there. She's like, oh, really? You're here to help me. And then she's like, Yuichiro. Well, it's very obvious that she's like pissed off and like she's definitely being sarcastic. Like, Yuichiro, you seem to have gotten stronger. And then the dude doesn't know is too naive as Yoruichi. He's too naive to understand sarcasm. So this dude straight up thinks that she is straight up praising him, be like, yes, Yoruichi, I have gotten stronger. Thank you for those eyes. He's like bawling his eyes out, man, ugly crying and all, man. And so while this is going to Fuckboy Aizen pulls out his bow again, pointed right at him. It's like, hey, young lady, you gonna fight me or not? He tells him that I'm a man. He's like, oh, is that right? And then Yoruichi makes him regret misgendering him because Jesus fucking Christ, this kid got fucking hands. he straight up gives Fuckboy Aizen the Jotaro special, man. Out of my god, the animation here looked phenomenal as well, man. I didn't know this kid had hands, but we learned today that this kid got hands. And he declares himself as Juichiro Senkai Sakimune Shihoin, if I pronounce that right, the 23rd head of the Shihoin clan. There's no way I would lose to a Quincy like you. Shoko Bakun Muso, which I guess is like his final attack. And we see the explosion of the background while Ichigo and the others are running. So then we come back over to Shinji's crew, and as they're running past them, we then see that he is now on the sides of a kaiju. And basically we find that basically his power, the miracle, basically allows him to turn his wounds into a godly size. So if I had to guess, I assume the more damage he takes, the bigger he gets. In this case, he took because of Byakuya trying to finish him off, he ends up turning him into the size of a kaiju. We also get to see Rengoku, and also of course Hinata. So we found where he finally ran off to after he was MIA for a couple of the Mayuri episodes. So yeah, he was with the Kiko the entire time. So cool thing they got the guy little cameo there, man. We'll get to see some more Spike Spencer in this episode of the airs, which is always nice to see. So then we cut back over to him. He's now just running roughshod there, just destroying everything, man. Like throwing buildings at them, man, and like just destroying everything in his path. Momo actually gets a quick showcase in this episode, man, where she like creates this like makeshift trampoline into which you can use Hado number 90 Senjoko Tentaiho, if I pronounced that right, man. Which looks pretty cool, man. Which does a little bit of damage. So we have Byakuya trying once again using Zanpakuto Sakura, which does no damage at this point, man. Soifon tries to use her Bankai, but he wouldn't let her finish saying the name right before the rocket blew off. Renji and Rukia think they're like, okay, we're gonna have to fight them together and team up. And the dude just huffs, and he puffs, and he blows the entire place away, man. Luke just blows on him like he's the big bad wolf and just sends everyone flying, man. It's honestly pretty insane. Before then, that's when we head back with Yoruichi and Yoruichi, where this time we actually get to see that Yoruichi was basically wearing the same outfit that Soifon is, with just like some added like purple like arm things going on there, which I guess makes sense because the Shihoan clan Yoruichi dressed like this when she was the leader of the Shihoan clan, of course. Soifon then took over the stuff, so it would make sense they were all wearing the similar outfits, but it was kind of interesting just to see like, oh, he's actually wearing the same outfit as Soifon. This is how it would look like on a dude. But yeah, that's just something I noticed. Anyway, as Fuckboy Aizen is getting burned alive, Yoruichi tells him about how he stole her thunder with his flash antics. He apologizes for that, and then Yoruichi begrudgingly says, "But mastering the Shuken to that extent, that quickly is worthy of praise." So he starts freaking out, which honestly, man, I cannot wait to watch these episodes back with the dub, just so I can hear the dynamic between Zeno and Wendy. I'm really excited to see what their dynamic will be like, because this will be like the first time they've ever interacted in the anime. So that's pretty fun, man. I feel that will be a lot of fun whenever we get to this in the dub. So we see him come out of the flames, man. His body is burnt to a crisp. And Himento can control the lethal dosage. He says, "Thank you for doing killing with all your spiritual pressure. You pumped into me, and now she has developed immunity, and now they can't kill him with their spiritual pressure. At least Yushiro, or at the very least Yushiro can, but I'm sure Yoruichi will, because we know she ain't done yet, man. She's still got one more form in her." And who knows, maybe Kisuke, this will be when Kisuke finally shows up as well, and we get to see, his updated form later on, because there's still some stuff we know that are in the BBS characters, we still haven't gotten the Blood War in the anime, so obviously all this shit is going to be in core form, which is kind of insane that, like, all the, like, really crazy parts, like, Adult Toaster, which you guys know was in the PV, the original pre-animated PV, when the Blood War was forced animated, that we're not seeing that till core 4, which is kind of insane, that they were showing off stuff from that far away. Kind of crazy, but I guess it was already in BBS, and it was like one of the first ones, part of the initial waves. I guess what makes it they would put that there and be like, look at all these epic moments, I'll get to finally adapt. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, Yuichiro at the very least cannot kill Fuckboy Aizen anymore with his spirit pressure, but obviously Yoruichi could probably still pull it up. Anyway, regardless of that, man, he still rushes towards him and gets pierced by 3 arrows. Before we then cut over back to Haschwalth and Uryu, where once again Haschwalth is still trying to like bait Uryu into admitting that he's a traitor. He eventually pulls out his sword and says, "Then prove yourself that you are not a traitor." So then there's a massive hole. The building kind of partially explodes. He gets out of the blast, and right when he gets out of the initial blast phase or whatever happened inside, he is then met with Ichigo, and that is where the episode ends. We got the credits and everything, man. Oh my god, that was fucking awesome, man. That was such an amazing way to end the episode off with him just meeting up with Ichigo. But then we get a post-credit scene where we then get to see both Ryuken and Ishin make their triumphant returns. Ishin is rocking, or not Ishin. Well, Ishin is rocking his Soul Reaper outfit, while Ryuken is rocking his Quincy Guard, man. Look, this part of the episode looked honestly phenomenal, man. I love the lighting here, the close up on Ryuken's eye, when we see on his eye, like looking at the grave of, I'm assuming, of his dead wife, man, with it reflecting in his glasses, man. Just this part of the episode looked absolutely just spectacular, man. And that is where the episode ends, ladies and gentlemen. Phenomenal episode, man. And without further ado, let's get on to the next episode, episode 40, the final episode of Core 3. So we start the episode off right where we left off about last week, you would say, but I was like, just 5 minutes ago. Right where we left off in the previous episode, with Uryu meeting up with Ichigo, and then Orihime and Shadow right behind him. And so Hashwalt slowly approaches them with their sword in hand. Fate is leading in your favor. Now prove yourself. If you say you are not a traitor, then prove it by killing them right here, right now. I love the key animation here. This whole part of the episode that I was the storyboard, man, was amazing. I love the close-up on Uryu's eye. Looks amazing. The key, then we get a close-up on Hashwalt's eye, reflection of Uryu's bow in his eye, man. The storyboarding here was spectacular, man, I have to say, for this portion of the episode. So Uryu fires one of his arrows at Ichigo. He manages to obviously deflect it, rushing towards Ichigo, and they clash swords. Love the storyboarding here once the camera like follows him from his back as he like jumps and rushes towards Uryu, man. Looked phenomenal, man. So after the OP, we then cut over to a flashback back to Core 1, where we get to see Uryu reading the book about the Quincy's with narration from his grandfather. I believe it was his grandfather. Might have been his uncle. I forget. It's been a minute since I last watched Soul Society. But basically, we learn from here. He talks, which this kind of definitely tells us that Uryu really wasn't really enjoying the Quincy's, because he was like, yeah, fuck the Soul Reapers, I'm a Quincy. It was really just so he could get close to Yuha and actually kill him. So, which obviously, if you guys know, is very similar. This is something that people have been pointing out a lot, and when the last episode dropped, was the similarities and parallels between Hashwalt and Bosby with Ichigo and Uryu, even down to their birthdays, of their respective birthdays being 9 days apart from each other. I believe it was 9 days apart from each other where Bosby and Hashwalt's birthday are covering Ichigo and Uryu, which I thought was a nice touch, man. But also, Kubo definitely was not being very subtle, I would say, with the comparisons and parallel between those two and Ichigo and Uryu. But anyway, man, I think this was a mixture of like new footage mixed with like with Ryu's footage from Core 1. I could be wrong, this was all Ryu's footage from Core 1, but I'm pretty sure there was some new footage in there added in as well. So as his grandpa explains about the Hashwalen, and for Yuha to regain his powers and everything, man, we see Masaki fall into Grand Fisher. We see Uryu and his mom, I think it is. We see there's 2 women here. I don't know. I forget which one is his mom. Fall down, obviously due to the Ashwalen and them losing their powers. And his grandfather continues on saying that I became convinced that Yuha will never forgive the world that has forsaken the Quincy's. He will return and put an end to this loathsome world. And he says, as Quincy's who live in the world of the living, we have a responsibility. When the time comes, we must stop him. On our honor as a Quincy, we must protect this world, and we must protect the people we love. Before we cut back over to Ichigo and Uryu, fight here looks so absolutely incredible in the art animation. I'm pretty sure the background here was CG, but either way, man, this looked absolutely amazing as these two continue throwing down. As we get some narration from Uryu, they approach Yuha and demonstrate his power to elude watchful eyes around him. And then we're back to Ichigo and Uryu facing each other off. Ichigo then fires a mini Getsuga right up near the floor, which Uryu takes out before he jumps as a distraction as he jumps into the air and fires an actual Getsuga at Uryu, which he manages to block with one of his arrows, which ends up like cutting off a part of Waterwilt off, and then you see the building just fall downward to make up for the now missing piece that Ichigo cut up with the Getsuga. Honestly, it's insane how powerful Ichigo is in the Blood War, man. This dude is so OP. But anyway, Uryu then fires off another attack as we see Orihime using her like shields to block the rubble from hitting her, as Uryu fires off this other attack to clear out the smoke, as he sees Ichigo's sword just chilling out and just levitating in the air, which is a good another strategy for Ichigo to come behind him to try and attack him once again, but Uryu manages to dodge out of the way. He fires another arrow, Ichigo fires a Getsuga at him, massive explosion where Ichigo falls down this massive hole, but Chad comes in there for the clutch save, throws him back up there. Ichigo grabs Uryu by his jacket, and then they both just plummet down to whatever underground with their cavern they go to for the next part of the episode. Anyway, after that, we then head her back with Lily Toto and her crew going up to face off against a sleeping Yuha, and obviously we know how this ended. So then we're back with then we cut over to Yoruichi as she's now behind some cover with Yuichiro, but it doesn't take long for Fuckboy Aizen to find them. It says that she's fast and that she's fast, very fast, but he's also fast as well. He of course dodges a bunch of Yoruichi's attack. Once again, we're like, you don't listen to you, and then she finishes him that he's immune to that. Ends up using like the ball she has behind him to create a flashbang, distracting Wanda for her to hit a Hurricane Rana onto Fuckboy Aizen, sending him flying with an amazing rotating shot when she actually throws him, which I thought was really nice, man. Just the animation in this episode, man, was spectacular, man. I love all the rotating shots. Like, you guys know, I mentioned this countless times in my reviews. I love the rotating shots we've been getting throughout Core 3, man. They have all been absolutely spectacular. Then we're back with Valkyrie as he's wreaking havoc. We see poor Momo is hiding in some building, trying to hide from him, but he ends up finding her. And right before he crushes her in the building, Love manages. I would assume it was Rose managed to get him out, or someone, or maybe it was, I believe it might have been Shinji managed to get her out of the building before that happens. Anyway, and we see the Visors all teaming up together with their Hollow Mask activated. Man, Shinji takes off his Quincy jacket, revealing this nice little vest he's got under his shihakusho, excuse me, that just looks like this. Bro, this shot goes fucking hard, man. With the visors, all with their Hollow Mask on, man, it just looks so fucking cool. Especially Shinji with him holding his captain's jacket, man, like over his shoulder, man. Like, bro, this shit goes hard. I'll probably put this on the thumbnail, honestly. So then we actually get to see someone from Ruka. Yes, Ruka makes a return. I'm pretty sure this part of the episode might have been anime original, I think, or I could be wrong. This one's in the manga, but judging from James's excitement, I think this might have been anime original, but this could have been the manga as well. Either way, Ruruka's back, so she's pacing around there while Yuki is just chilling, playing his PSP. They eventually head over back downwards, where they're back into the Soul Society, where they then see that we then see these like spirits of Baro just terrorizing, blowing shit up within the Soul Society. I'm not sure exactly how this works. I don't know if these are remnants of his Reishi from those death beams attack he was firing off at Shunsui. I'm not sure what exactly is causing this, man, but yeah, a bunch of Baro, but yeah, we got these little like mini Baro just wreaking havoc within the Soul Society. Before we then see Kira make his return as a dead man, which I actually have his unit in BBS as well. I also do have this unit. Man, I love the way it's revealed as well. We get this really nice shot of the crescent moon before it then focuses on the hole and the little like frost there, like I guess keeping them together within Kira before it like pans out there and we see like a full shot of it, man. It looks spectacular. Man. I love the use of depth of field here, man, where you can see the moon is perfectly, inside the hole where Kira's hole is there with the line with the rods keeping his body together, man. It just looks so fucking good. As he says, make this new hole ache, and then like the Baro like clones or whatever, like that's who he is. He says a dead man, and man, he definitely looks dead. But man, does he look fucking badass, man. This shot, that shot goes hard, man. That's another shot that just goes really hard, man. We then get another flashback to Ichigo and Uryu, where Ichigo asks him, like, hey man, shouldn't you be shouldn't you be in a school for smarter kids, man? Don't you want to be a doctor? Yada yada, etc. And then Uryu asks him about his dad being a doctor. He says, like, oh, my dad has some do with the beer, which I guess fair, we see that Ishin just has his own like little like clinic he got going on there, man, a little mini clinic. Going on there on Karakura Town, while Ryukin straight up he works at a straight up hospital, man. Man is a doctor at a hospital, so I guess I can see where Ichigo's coming from when he says that about Ishin. And then Uryu tells him that he doesn't want to be a doctor anymore. Ichigo asks him, like, those are times you did want to be, and Uryu doesn't want to say anything, so he ends up leaving. We get another flash where we see Uryu, a kid Uryu, watching Ryukin do an autopsy on his wife. And I love the shot of Uryu when he's like peeking out through the doors, man. It looks really good. Like I said, the storyboard in this episode was phenomenal. And he says, that day I decided I would never become a doctor. I'd never be a doctor. If being a doctor means having to cut apart your dead wife. And you know what, man? Fair enough. Fair enough if that traumatized you up to not want to be a doctor anymore, bro. Anyway. We then cut her back to Uryu, and Ichigo are now underneath, and they're now in this whatever cavern they're under, man, in this building or whatever, the floor. This is when Uryu presents him about the Sun Key, tells that this really is a gate to the Gate of Sun, which allows you to transfer to multiple gates, and this is how he can get back to the Soul Society. This is also, of course, when Uryu mentioned that he is going to stay there and kill Yuha and stop the Wild Welt. If I pronounce it right, I always feel like I'm mispronouncing it. So yeah, at this point, they all know that Uryu was never against them from the beginning. Ichigo then just rushes towards him, grabs him by the and just starts screaming out for damn it, like we were supposed to fight together. Why didn't you just tell us? Yada yada yada. Uryu tells that he's the only one that can defeat Yuha, etc. 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 And as they continue onward, Uryu tells Ichigo to just take it and go over there to take it and go there before Hashirama catches on. And of course, right when he says his name, just like Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I had to do it, man. I had to do it. He appears right there and be like, oh, what part do you think that was? As I told you before, I am almighty. I can foresee everything. Blah, 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 blah. When he realizes, or when Hacho says, I can foresee everything, that's when Uryu realizes, oh shit, him and Yuha's powers are flipped, and tells Ichigo to go over there to where Yuha is and to finish him there, because obviously with the power flip, he'll be a lot easier and weaker to take down, because he doesn't have the almighty. So he tells Ichigo to go over there while he takes care of Hashirama. And as they run off there, Uryu tells oh, you're not even gonna pretend to go after them. He's like, oh, they're already dead. I can foresee it. There's no point. So then Uryu grabs his bow and says the future can't be changed, right? But regardless of such, man, with their blade, with their weapons drawn, we have to only get the title card, episode 40, My Last Words. And then we get a post-credit scene, if you want to call it that. I'm not entirely sure what you call that. But anyway, we then see Ryuen and Ishin have now arrived to Wild Welt. Both dripped out in their Soul Reaper and their Quincy garments. Ryuen looks amazing in the Quincy outfit, man. He looks good, man. He looking fresh in that outfit, man. Not gonna lie. And so then we get a quick montage and we see Ichigo now charging up the stairways with Mayuri, Toshiro with Rangiku. Once again, still tripped out in the Quincy outfit. It's just that Quincy outfit, that Quincy winter jacket he's wearing that they got Toshiro wearing it, bro. Toshiro got the best drip in Bleach. I think we can all agree on that, and he is the most drippy character in Bleach. We see him, we see Juichiro, Mayuri, Shunsui with Nanao, man. Before we cut over back to Lily Toto's crew, as we see that she is now defeated and they've all been killed. And then we get to, honestly, might have been the best shot in the entire core, where the camera zooms out from Waterwell. We see underneath them, I'm assuming the world they live in, the Soul Society and whatnot, before it turns to the side and the ED starts playing, man. Oh my God, man! I damn near came from that transition, man. Jesus H Christ, that is what you call a transition, ladies and gentlemen. And that is where the episode ends, ladies and gentlemen. As I mentioned before, after this we get a little comedy skit from the last 5 minutes with Fuckboy Eisen, and it also explained with the other Quincy's of Yuha's crew was, and of course the baddie Quincy Nikita, who seriously, man, we also get a good look at her outfit and everything, man. She looks so good, man. Can we get a spin-off manga on her, a one-shot chapter, an OVA, something about Nikita, man? I need more of Nikita. She is so bad, man. She is so bad. Anyway, guys, that is where I'm going to this video off, man. And that is videos off, man. Overall, I give both these episodes a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. Core 3 was amazing, man. Easily the best core of the 1,000 Year Blood War so far. See you guys whenever we got for Core 4. With the Blu-rays coming out in May, James thinks that we're probably going to get this in October and fall, which I'm praying. I might have said it earlier in the video, but this might be just a reaction. I'm hoping now, because I don't want to do double reviews with Hiroaka again, man. That shit was hell when I did the last couple episodes of Season 7. I do not want to do that again for Season 8 for its entire run. So I'm hoping maybe this will actually air in summer, or we won't get this till winter, man. Hopefully one of the two happens, man. I'm praying, just so I don't gotta review anything else during it, man. But yeah, 2025, man, it's gonna be a busy year, man. Probably the most busy I've ever been for reviewing, because it looks like there's not gonna be a season where I'm not reviewing something. But you guys know we got Dragon Ball Daima. It's finally started airing in January, so I'm gonna start reviewing that on Fridays. Spring, I got Vigilantes, which could just be spring. It could also go into summer if it ends up being 24 episodes. So that depends on it. Fall, we know we're going to get Hiroaka season 8. So, and then Bleach is going to be somewhere in between that, probably. So, yeah, that's going to be a busy. I don't think there'll be a single season where I'm not reviewing something, man. So, yeah, my final year of ever doing anime reviews, depending on, when JoJo returns and everything, man. And Bleach, with the Burn the Witch and everything, man. So, depending on who knows. Next year's going to be busy. It's going to be a busy year. There's going to be a lot of reviews coming out. But anyway, guys. I've rambled on long of this video is long enough, man. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me so you feel like it. Links up to us below. And as always, come out for more. See you guys next time.